Hi, I'm Rob, back again. We're going to talk about the difference between what we did in the previous video and setting up for a DeWalt saw, DeWalt rail. So it's the same assembly process in general. We just have a different pin for the DeWalt rail. It also has its own pinsert, which is, this is the Festool one, but it's the same thing with a narrower slot because the pin is smaller. So you just want to use this pin in a different hole on the front bracket. So with the notch on this side, you're using this hole, not this hole. Because you can see the difference. This is the Festool style rail hole on that side where my thumb is, and we're going to use the other hole for DeWalt. Now, we've been putting thread lock on everything, and an important lesson to keep in mind is if you put thread lock on this screw that's going into this pin and you ever want to change to another kind of saw, it's going to be extremely difficult to get this pin off. So just think about that before you decide whether you're going to put thread lock on this screw. In this case, I'm going to leave it off. And so it's just the same as we did in the last video. You want to make sure that the side of the pin that has the larger bevel is going to go up, facing up away from the plate. So start that, hold my thumb on one side, run that up there, and then my number 2 Phillips, and it doesn't take much to get that secured. So that is now in the DeWalt position, and you would just reinstall this with a washer and a knob on the mounting plate. So that's now ready to go. In the rear bracket, whereas for the Festool style rails we used this set of holes over on this side of the plate, we're going to use the center set of holes and do the same thing we did before. And as you saw me do before, thread lock on this screw. It goes through the hole at the front into the front hole on the pressure bar, and you want to just run that up so it's slightly below flush with the top of the bar. Now that thread lock is going to take some time to set up, so just be aware of that. Generally when the thread lock is enclosed in something, so it's not exposed to air, it was set up really fast, but in this case it's not going to happen as fast, so just be aware of that. But that's governing how far you can lift it. And just like with the other setups, you will put these large washers back on these studs and put the knobs back on, and you're in business now for a DeWalt setup. So remember to use the DeWalt pinsert in your rail and you'll be all set. So now we'll move on to Bosch Mafell. Okay, this is the special addendum to the assembly video to deal with how to set up for the Bosch Mafell rail. So in the front bracket, you would assemble it just like you were using the Festool style rails. And instead of using the pinsert, which goes in those rails, fits on that pin nice and snug to eliminate slop at the front of your rail, we're going to use a piece called the platesert, which attaches with these very low profile T-nuts to the narrow slots in the Bosch Mafell rail, and then this slot simply drops over the pin, the same as the other pinsert. So that's the front bracket. In the rear bracket, we have, again, very thin T-nuts, which are especially assembled for this, with their own knobs. They go in the 4 smaller holes. I've already put 3 in here in the pivot plate. And so you just drop that down from the top, and then pop the knob on, and so these will correspond to the 2 slots on the bottom of that rail. And you will install your rail just like you would any of the others, tighten those down, and you're ready to go. Now they do have some ability. The holes are oversized so that they can, you can do the same thing with your rail that I described in the other video about being able to move the pressure bar. And so you can always get the best setup regardless of which kind of rail you have. Thanks for watching.